Dior Sauvage EDP. People have been asking me to review this. Okay, very good looking bottle. I like Dior as a brand. I think there's something very prestigious and amazing about Dior and the way they position themselves. So I always want to get something by Dior all the time. Like, for example, they used to have these outstanding fragrances, the Fahrenheit by Dior. That was brilliant, you know. And then you had Dior L'Homme, which I've never had, surprisingly. Anyways, this one's called Sauvage. Sauvage means travel or voyage. If you want word for word, it's called voyage. It's a sweet, night, sexy fragrance. It has some really good notes of slight, I think I can smell some coconut-based whiff of sweet fragrance. It smells like a night at the beach with dimly lit lights, and it's not a very occasional fragrance. I think it's an everyday fragrance. If you want to make it a certain smell your signature, you can definitely try Dior Sauvage. If you ask me what are fragrances which are similar to this, then I would probably have to say that one fragrance that is kind of similar to this is Dylan Blue by Versace, and ready for that, Club de Nuit by Hermès. I dropped the bottle, it weighs a ton. Club de Nuit by Hermès is probably a better fragrance overall. The Dior Sauvage is actually 1 or 2 dimensional, which means it will attract your nose, your nasal senses from the 1 or 2 dimension. It's sweet and it has some stay, but I wish it had more longevity and projection. Initially, I felt it used to have a lot of longevity and projection, but of late, I'm not quite sure. Also, if you are confused between this and Chanel Blue, I frankly would recommend you get Chanel Blue, but please note the blue has a lot of fakes out there. There's a lot of Dior Sauvage fakes also. So maybe you want to go to a shop and buy it and then test it out right there. And that way you can also tell the salesman that if this is not genuine, buddy, I'm going to bring it back to you if I find out. And that way you're always more likely to get a genuine bottle. If you are a bit cavalier about your money, you can try getting it from Shoppers Stop. There's an 80% chance you get a correct one, or Nika. There's a 75 to 85% chance you get the correct one. Now, why do I say 15% chance of it being duplicate? Because I have had certain experiences which I'm not going to talk about. Going back to Dior Sauvage, if you are up to the age of 35, between 25 and 35, and you're looking for an 8,000, 6,000, 10,000 rupee perfume, Dior Sauvage EDP is where it's at. There are other variants of this like Elixir, which is supposed to be better. Although I haven't smelled it, it's supposed to be better. All my perfume gods whom I watch on YouTube swear by that. Dior Sauvage is a tried and tested perfume. It's a designer fragrance. It's not boyish, it's young manish. It's about a man, it's about somebody who's trying to differentiate himself and rise to the next level of understanding and virtue. But at the same time, is very self-confident. And I know I'm describing the personality of a person who's supposed to wear this, but if you associate with that, or if those words resonate with you, perhaps you would like this fragrance. This is the Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I've had the Tom Ford Noir and I absolutely love it. So I had to get the Extreme because everyone says it's better. I've had this for maybe 2 months now. So it's a good time to do a review of this. I got this from the Tom Ford store here in New Delhi. And this is the Extreme. It's a 50 ml fragrance. I spent about 12,000 rupees on it. So let's spray it. This is a creamy, powdery fragrance. However, the direction is quite different and a bit of a departure from what we have with the Noir. The Noir Extreme, I think it has more of a creamy, a bit more rosy, a bit more friendly, I want to say, fragrance. And at the same time, I think it is a very self-aware fragrance, which is probably something I don't like about it, because a self-aware fragrance also tends to project a certain ideology about who it's trying to be to the person who's receiving it. So I personally like fragrances which have a very personal essence. For example, if you check out the Tom Ford Noir, It grows on you from one dimension to a second to a third dimension and has an earthy finish, and it has brilliant take of iris that is missing from the Tom Ford Noir. Now I have worn this time and again, but for some reason I can't really appreciate much about it. So I mean, I have this bottle and I'm glad I got it. I don't regret it at all, because I think I like to have a collection of Tom Ford fragrances. But if we talk about the Tom Ford Noir, the bottle looks like this. This is Tom Ford Noir. This was purchased from someplace, from John Green's in UK. And side by side, this is how the Tom Ford Noir looks. It's a bit mysterious. It starts off a bit strange. Tom Ford Noir Extreme is a bit one-dimensional. It tends to, these are not what you think they are. They are protein pills. Anyways, like I was saying, this tends to be a bit too sweet and has a bit of an amber note. Also, I feel that somehow I don't seem to like the Tom Ford Noir Extreme.